Welcome back. February is Teen Dating Violence Awareness Month, and the Family Justice Center of Erie County wants to spread awareness for this abuse that impacts a major percentage of our community. Welcome Kelly Gass from the FJC to share more. Thanks so much for coming in today, Kelly.
Good morning. Thank you.
I'd love you to start off by telling us the importance of why we need to specifically recognize dating violence in the teen population.
Yeah, so shockingly, we know that 1 in 3 teens will become a victim of domestic violence between the ages of 12 and 18.
Wow.
So what that equates to is 1.5 million teenagers in America is in some type of abusive relationship. And it's very concerning to us because oftentimes someone's first relationship, the first entry into dating, is an abusive one.
And that leads on to a cycle.
Right. We just see that pattern snowball from those lack of boundaries that have not been established at the beginning, just lead to worse and worse relationships.
Well, Kelly, can you define teen dating violence and tell us why teens are more susceptible to abuse?
Yeah. So teen dating violence really refers to physical, psychological, and sexual abuse, but it's also harassment and stalking. And this can come in both the physical or the digital form. So it's very important for us to have this conversation about what that means digitally, because for a lot of teens, the majority of their relationship really is a digital one.
Right.
They have more of a relationship with their partner through texting than through anything else. They're comfortable on their device, they lack boundaries, and they often just share too much too soon, and then they find themselves in a very dangerous or very, very hurtful situation.
Let's talk about some red flags for teens to be aware of.
Sure. So there's a lot of red flags, but a few big ones. One, I would say, is isolation. If you're in a relationship with a partner who starts to control who you can see, who you can hang out with, tries to remove you from your friends or your family, that could be perceived by your friends or your family as your choice when it's not. The other thing is social media and access to your phone. A lot of teens give up their passwords and the control to their phone to the person they're in a relationship with. It's a huge red flag.
Major no-no.
Major no-no. And another one is unwanted touch. We see people getting into relationships and really going farther in a physical way than they want to. And anybody that forces you down that path farther than you're willing to go, that's a huge red flag.
I think it's important to talk about this because when it comes to teenagers dealing with violence, especially sexual violence, we tend to assume that the perpetrator is older, and that doesn't always have to be the case.
No, it's not the case at all. And we are actually seeing a rise in sexual abuse in this younger population. And the person you're in a relationship with could be younger. It doesn't matter.
We talked about some red flags when it comes to dating, but let's talk about some green flags for these teenagers that are in relationships.
Yeah, and I think it's important to note these green flags, and when somebody is good, if you are making decisions together and they allow you to make decisions together, that is a good thing. And it's okay to say no. You should be able to say no, to change your plans, and that should be acceptable to your partner. That shouldn't lead to a fight. And respecting those boundaries, that's another green flag. You do not need to spend all of your time together. You do not need to be texting each other all day and all night in between classes. So space is good. So if somebody respects that space in your life, that's important to recognize.
Let's talk about a safety plan and what that would look like for a teenager especially. We talk about this with the women that come into FJC when they're leaving an abusive relationship, but for teenagers that are still in high school and still need to go to school every day, they need safety plans too.
Yeah, that's right. And safety planning is really one of the most important elements to consider when you're trying to leave an unhealthy relationship. And what this does, it outlines the actions and the step and the appropriate support contacts in your life. And so our kids are at school most of the time. So what would that look like? Well, we might help you decide when is the right time to be dropped off at school, what hallways to walk through, who to walk with, where not to walk in order to avoid becoming, you know, in a more dangerous situation or facing somebody that you're uncomfortable being around. And our advocates can help plan that, and we can also help facilitate that with the school.
Nice. Well, Kelly, this is something that you guys have been doing at the FJC, going into schools and speaking to students about teen dating and coming up with safety plans. So if there's a school out there that could really benefit from these talks with their students, what's the best way for them to reach you?
You know, really easily, just email me at kelly@fjcsafe.org or send us a DM through any of our social channels. It's easy. It's one of our favorite things to do right now, is to be in the schools and engaging in conversation. Even though these kids are having mainly digital conversations, they do want to talk, and they are confiding in us, and they are asking questions. So we want to give the most opportunity to do that.
Well, Kelly, thank you so much for coming in and sharing more on this important topic. Viewers, if you or someone you know may need help escaping an unsafe situation, you can call the number or email on your screen and arrange a presentation for your school by contacting Kelly at fjcsafe.org. Thanks again for coming in, Kelly.
Thank you.